Gather round, folks, it's that time of week. We got charts and graphs, what truth seekers speak. Crypto crazy's here with the latest scoop. Bustling in the market, now let's loop the loop. Tune in, tune up, it's the weekly show. Crypto markets rise, crypto markets down. We charted one, it's a knowledge raid. Crypto crazy hosts the digital parade. Davidson's insights, no lie, no slide. While one breaks it down from the ground to the moon. Crypto crazy hosts the digital parade. Tune in, tune up, it's the weekly show. Crypto markets rise, crypto markets down. We charted one, it's a knowledge raid. Crypto crazy hosts the digital parade. Like a bird in the sky. Chart Davidson's insights, no lie, no slide. One breaks it down from the ground to the moon. Crypto moves so fast, never under a dune. Tune in, tune up, it's the weekly show. Crypto markets rise, crypto markets down. We charted one, it's a knowledge.
Good evening. How's everybody doing? Thanks for joining us this week on the weekly roundtable. Myself and Chart Davidson, as well as Juan, will be up momentarily. And speak of the devil, there he is. How are you gentlemen doing on this fine Thursday?
All right. How are you?
I'm doing great. Just kind of messing around with the setup, getting back into the swing of thing of doing the streams. The market is super exciting. Not really sure exactly what's going on. So thank goodness we have Chart to help us out, possibly with that. Chart, how you doing today, sir?
I'm good. I just made dinner, so I was like running around going, "Oh my god, it's 7:00! You're gonna kill me for being late." I hate being late myself. Actually, I hate when we have people that are supposed to be online at the time we're supposed to be online. They're like seconds away from starting live, and I'm like, "Oh my goodness." I like to be a little bit prepared, right? Like when I'm doing anything in live, I like to at least have a chat or just have an understanding what we're going to talk about. But sometimes you can't foresee that, and you go with the flow. So
yeah, no worries. We used to start right on the nose at 7:00, but I play the intro and kind of get everything ready. So usually around 7:10. So you are actually right on time. So no worries there. Couldn't have worked out any more perfect. Okay, so I guess start off right away with the news. I heard, I'm not sure if you gentlemen heard it as well, but I heard that the repayments for the FTX, they've actually extended it, and they're not going to begin until the new year. Whether or not that's good or bad remains to be seen. I guess a lot of people were looking forward to possibly some of that money going into the market, but I mean, we're at that phase of the market where everything's just coming together. The money supply is going up, or the global money supply is going up. Elections are right around the corner, so everything's kind of falling into place, and so I think that. Bit of news that the payments are going to be delayed is not that big of a deal. So no, for the win. Yeah, sure. Yeah, thanks for that. I'm not sure.
As soon as I saw that, I'm like, oh my god, you're doing it. Yeah, I know about the liquidity thing. I was actually talking about this week, and I said, it's a non-issue, and it's actually a good issue that they're not distributing anything, because they figured, why suppress the market now, right? We're just at the precipice of a large bull run. Why would you want to, drop this nuke, right, for the liquidity markets and, have everything fall apart again? And then we have like 2 months just to get going again. So it makes sense from a technical point of view that they're going to do this. And, why even consider it, right? Like you're at the bottom of the cycle pretty much. If you're going to distribute all this BTC, why not wait until we get to 100,000 or 200,000 or whatever and start distribution? So, yeah, it's a non-issue for me, and it's a good thing that happened.
Yeah, the only counter to that, I think, would be anyone who was hoping to get their Bitcoin now while the price is, I'll use the term loosely, low, because they want to jump back into the market. And if Bitcoin gets up to 100,000, as you say, let's say it does get distributed, then they may be a little bit more hesitant to get in the market. They might just cash out and say, forget it, Bitcoin's too expensive. But I mean, if we're at 100,000, who cares, right?
Screw that. You know what? They had 2 years to accumulate stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to hear anybody crying about this, because they had, from 2021 to now to accumulate whatever they wanted, right? At a discount, because everything was at a discount. And so if they're waiting for Bitcoin now to give them liquidity, like, what are you doing, right? What are you doing these years?
Juan, what about you? What are your thoughts on that?
I think the other perspective to the story is that Silk Road is supposed to start selling, right? Like, that got released. They got permission to sell. And nothing worse for a new holder of Bitcoin that got their money back, just seeing their money start dwindling because they didn't sell it in time, or they say, I'll sell it in a few months or whatever. And next thing you know, it drops because Silk Road has been kind of doing its thing. And if the government already kind of has an idea when it's going to sell, and they know they're going to sell before the new year, I think it's a good way for investors, or at least people are getting paid back, not to have their money drastically affected.
Yeah, the election's going to hinge a lot on that, because I think if the Dems get in, you're right, they probably will do some selling toward the end of the year. If the Republicans win, I'm not really sure that they will sell. They may not. They may just hold on to it because they're a little bit more crypto friendly, in my opinion, anyway. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. The other thing I also read is that CZ being released. I thought there was going to be a little bit more of a fuss about that, but nothing really happened. I mean, the markets didn't react. BNB didn't react, or Binance coin didn't react. So I'm not really sure. I guess it was a nothing burger, unless you guys have heard anything different. But it kind of went really under the radar.
Well, I announced that his release will be the start of the bull run, the official, 2024 start of the bull run, because he's almost like a father figure for a lot of people, right? Because he ushered in like that crazy 2017 bull run, right? And everybody remembers, everyone was happy about it. And then, it took forever to get back to where it was. And then we had another bull run. So it's almost like he's like ushering a new wave of optimism every single time he does something, and for him being released in October, of all places, at all times, I think it's only positive. And, wait until he starts tweeting, because it's going to be fun.
Yeah, that's true. And Chart, just out of as an FYI, I do as well enjoy what was that? Love at first sight, love out of sight. What were you talking about?
Love is blind.
Love is blind. That's right. See, I call it smut TV, and the girlfriend's right into it. Love in Paradise and all those different reality shows. Yeah, Love is Blind. That's right. That's the last one she was watching, and I agree. It's kind of a closet enjoyment. I tell her I don't like it, but yet I don't tell her to turn it off. So.
Oh, I enjoy it, and I actually just finished the Habibi one, which is the Middle Eastern one, and I watch it for the sake of just understanding people's cultures, right? Because it's really drastically different, right? Because everybody has their own little thing. I'm gonna probably watch the Love is Blind Sweden, right? See how crazy they are, you know what I mean? And maybe Argentina. I think Argentina's filming. How do I know this? I looked it up. That's how I know.
It's interesting seeing the different cultures. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Did you want to jump right into the charts here? I can bring your screen up.
Sure. Let's do it.
And might as well get it right out of the way. I'm curious to hear your take on it.
So, the weekly looks amazing, and I'll show you what I mean by that. I always talk about the MACD, right? Because I think it's really important to understand, where the moving averages are going, right? Are they going to the upside, to the downside? Are they converging or diverging, right? The important thing is that we have this weekly pinch, right? Because if you look closely, right, we have this momentum shift. This is going from bearish to bullish. So when we get into the positive territory here, right, we're going to be getting like this expansion that's going to happen with Bitcoin. And I wonder, so if I scale it back a bit and I look through the history, we can see that 2021 happened here, right? That was the peak of 2021. So the next bull run should get to that spot or higher. So either we stop here and go down, or if it's a strong move, we get much, much higher, right? And again, if we look at past history, we can see that these crossovers started bull runs, right? So we have I identified this crossover here, but it wasn't really a cross because it was like a bearish. The bullish cross was here. Okay. And it was well into the negative territory. So what I mean by that is if we had this crossover here the action's much, much faster. If we have it negatively here, it's going to take a while to get going, and it goes much slower. But it was fairly close to the horizon, and then we had the action, and then we went to the bull run. So here, I think we're going to be much faster because we're crossing over here. Now, I've seen this happen before where we have this kind of crossover. So let's say we have the crossover like that, and then this action goes up and then goes down again. Okay. So this can go up and down, and then everyone's going to be disappointed. Everyone's going to say, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I've seen this happen before, right? It doesn't mean it's the end, right? It just means we just need more time, right? The important thing is we do have this momentum on our side. Like this is on our side. Like this is perfect because this is what's happening. We have this positive momentum that takes us into like this pump. And that correlates with price action at the end of the day, right? Because that's what we're looking for. If we go into the price action thing, I'll just take all of my indicators out. See how that works? We got saved by this EMA, and then we're going to have this pump happening really soon. Depends on how much we get. Like maybe we do get 100,000 before the year starts, right? And then we taper, and then we stay there, and then we do another pump to 120, 130. Some people are talking about like 300,000. I don't know if we're going to get that. I'll be honest with you. Just because like for every cycle, we get smaller and smaller multiples, right? Yeah. So, it's really difficult to say we're going to get this massive expansion, like a 3x from the top, right? And that's why I'm very cautious, and I go, all right, let's do only 2x from the top, which was about 66, 67. That will be at 120, 130,000 per Bitcoin, and then we go from there, right? And then we have the other thing that's happening, which is the dominance, right? The dominance really tells a story too, as well, right? Because on the weekly scale, you can see that it's at a resistance. And I'll remove some of these things that you can see. We are at a massive resistance. But I think we do have something like this happen where we have a quick pump out of there and then down. And I'll show you what I mean on the other side. This happened in the last run. It was rejecting at this 200 weekly EMA multiple times, right? Once here, and then it pumped over that and then quickly got to the resistance and then down, and then we got into the bull run. So this might happen again, where like it just breaches this line and jumps right into that upper trend line resistance, and then we go straight down, and then it's like all season, right? Then it's like let's fucking celebrate. It's been too long. And it's gonna be fun because I can't wait for that bullishness to come back where it's like just throw money at anything and let's see what happens. And it's gonna be
fun. It's funny that you not funny, but when you mentioned the dominance there, the last 2 days, I'm sure a lot of people have noticed that Bitcoin has been holding strong and even going to the upside, but a lot of alts are just kind of bleeding, and that's definitely the dominance taken off. So you're right. I think we are heading up toward that line of resistance, and then that's when the altcoin party begins. And I can't wait for that. Sorry to cut you off. Continue.
No, that's fine. The other thing we always look at is the tether dominance, right? So the tether dominance is here. And, again, inversely of what we're talking about with Bitcoin on the weekly, right? We have a nice crossover for the bulls. We have a crossover for the bears. So this chart itself right here tells us that story, right? So let me do that again. See that? That crossover is going to happen, which means there's going to be a negative pull to the bottom. Most likely we get this pull towards this line here because that will be essentially a double bottom, right? And I think coincides with something on the left side. So if we take a look, I think there was something there, or maybe not, which is fine. But if you notice this, like it oscillates harder and harder, right? So it goes like this, like that, and then this. It's probably going to be something like that, right? As we move forward in time. So it's kind of getting bigger and bigger. And so maybe this is what happens. We get this, down momentum wave. And we have a crazy bull run, because I think liquidity is going to come. It just needs like a spark. It needs something to happen. Of course, we always talk about Bitcoin, right? Once Bitcoin hits like 75,000, 80,000, everyone's going to be talking about it. Everybody that normally doesn't look at crypto or do day-to-day crypto is going to be talking about it, right? And that's when we start seeing liquidity come into the play. And then more and more people are going to be going online, buying Bitcoin, putting pressure on other coins. Maybe we have some trickle-down effect happening where we have like the majors, lose some of that liquidity and goes into the mid-majors and sub $100 million projects. So really exciting to see what happens in the next 3 months, because I think we have like a huge surge coming up.
Well, I agree. We've been in this sideways chop now for months and months and months. It's actually been the longest chop after a halving thus far in the 4 cycles. And today on the DGen's weekly, Terry was saying that, you know, he's really not sure what's going on with the market, and he expected it to go down to, I believe he said 58. And I think the reason Bitcoin's holding strong is we have been coiling up for so long that I think there's just too much strength in the market, too much ETF volume, especially in the last 5 days.
Yeah, isn't it incredible?
It's holding the strength, and I think that, you know, I've been talking about for a long time that the Bitcoin is coiling up like a spring. That sucker's going to pop, and when it does, it's going to be a violent move upward. And you know, who knows when? Terry could be right. It could have another drop before that. Just you know, the market makers, they like to get rid of leveraged shorts and longs. So maybe it'll have a huge wick down to get rid of some longs, but then boom, I think one day it'll catch us all by surprise. We'll have like a $5,000 or $6,000 candle in a matter of a few hours, and then here we go. And I think once that happens, you're right. I think that's when Bitcoin will become a household name again. The searches will go up on Google, and go up, baby, up. That's what's going to happen. I just don't know exactly when. It'll be soon.
And you'll see, like on this chart, for example, I was going to say on this chart itself, you'll see it dump to this level. Is once they start dumping, you'll see like Bitcoin going crazy. Go on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my thing. I think I'm going to be the old fogey on this. I think that you're right. I think there's a lot of consolidation happening, which is good, right? But it's also, I think, is leading to decision time, right? Up or down. And when you look at overall the news of what's happening, you hear, oh, Trump has great crypto plans, but it's not detailed. No one knows what it is. Kamala, believe it or not, rallying BTC again because she has a new regulatory framework that she wants to release, and it involves removing Gary Gensler, right? So it just looks like they're propping up for a bull, but with no real positive news, because again, there's no details, right? And then you'd still have Silk Road looming, which is why I think the accumulation is happening, right? Because people are waiting, what's going to happen, so they can kind of see where the money's going to go to. I just think it's still going to take a drop. And I don't know how significant this drop is going to be. It really just depends on all these things that converging, right? Elections, more details. How is Trump looking, right? Because Trump, believe it or not, still plays a huge role on effect. Gold right now is tipping to hit another all-time high, 2,700, right? I think it's at 2695 right now. Then you still have the stocks hitting all-time highs as well. So there's a lot of things that it's not chart busting. It's just making it look prettier than it should be. And I think that this is where you got to be cautious, pay attention, and see where you can get in the market. And right now, decision time is just the major players haven't put their chips in yet. And that's what we're waiting for. Because when you look at the overall volume, we're still down compared to last year. So those are the factors that I'm looking at to see if we're going to make a good move up or down. And it's very indifferent. And I just think it's going to go down first before we see this rally, which it should happen. Overall, should happen. But the major players haven't committed to it yet.
You're probably right. I was actually going to look for the liquidation heat map, and I forgot to pull it up. But right now, the majority of the leverage positions are in longs. So there's a lot of longs to be liquidated, going all the way down to 60,800, I believe. And coincidentally with that, I watched I watch it every day, but James from Invest Answers, he kind of follows the Bitcoin fair value price, basically where if it goes below that, then institutions and big money and the ETFs and stuff would be underwater, which he feels that they'll hold that level, and that's right at 61,000. So I mean, those two coincide. You're probably right. There could be like a massive violent wick down just to get rid of all those leveraged longs when they're ready to let the price rip. Well, I shouldn't say let it, but when it's going to happen. I see that happening first, and then we have that V-shaped recovery, and then it just explodes, and we have a huge run to the upside. So yeah, I agree with that. That could happen.
Yeah, I think that's why they're moving a lot of this money into gold, because we saw like an unnatural skip up there. And again, like gold is a great way to kind of move money from gold into Bitcoin and back and forth. It happens a lot, and I just foresee it continuing. So we're poised, we're in prime position to make a great decision up or down. It's now just up to these market makers, like you said earlier, to really commit. So we'll see soon, right? Because it's about to burst.
I gotta shit on a little bit. So look at this chart that I just pulled up. Okay, so October in itself, in the history of crypto, right? That is I guess 11 years, could be longer, but if you look at October, for example, on average, it's a 20% month. Okay, that includes like post bull run years, includes pre bull run years, during bull run years. So if you notice that we're only at 6%. The prior years before the bull run, so 2016 is one, right? 2020 is one. We're at 27%. 2016 is at 14%, right? 2013 was the bull run year. 2012, we don't know what it was, unfortunately, but on average, we're 20%. We're only at 6%, which means we still have about, on average, about 15% more for where we are. The only year that produced a negative month was 2018 and 2014. Do you know why? Because those were the post-bull run years. That's it. So statistically alone, we're not going to go dump. Like, that's just the way it goes. Now, obviously, external factors can happen out of nowhere. Aliens can land. Trump can be killed again. A whole bunch of stuff, right? But on average, right. Yeah, exactly. But on average, we're going to be up 21%, the biggest jump in all the months available. Okay. Looking just the median, the average is obviously higher in November because of the crazy month in 2013 in November, where it was up 4x, right? Which is absolutely nuts. But other than that, the median price, if you look across the board, February is at 15%. That's the closest month. Then you got 8% in July, almost 9% in July, 8.8% in November. And that's it. October is the highest month. So if we're going to be bearish, we can probably stop at 6% and call it a night and go into November and say maybe in November we drop down 20%, whatever. But on average, I think we should be at 74,000, 72,000. And then maybe we can draw it down a little bit, right? Because it makes sense to me, because if you were to look at, Bitcoin, right? If I were to take a look at Bitcoin and zoom in on this chart, for example, right? Let me just go here. 15% from here is essentially just this. So take 15%, move it to this level. It's about here to 77,000, 75,000. So maybe somewhere in here. So that's the average, right? And it could easily be much higher than average. So I think October is, 2 weeks away from being finished. I think we have 2 explosive weeks coming up. That's just my take.
Well, I guess we're gonna have to see. Chart, can you put up that previous?
Yeah, of course.
Chart for me. The monthly one. Yeah, I want to see. Now you notice, I'm not sure exactly the reason. Maybe it's because of vacations and whatnot. But you notice every single year, especially if you look on the average, June, July, August, and even September are very, very low average for the market.
Yeah.
Exactly. It could be because of summer vacation, people not really
disinterest. Yeah, disinterest. People
and
just
then when
not
everyone
willing
gets
to
back
trade
from holidays.
or invest. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, everyone gets back from holidays. Kids are back at school, and then parents decide they want to spend some money, and here comes October, November.
Exactly. And then on average, like medium for January is not great. Could be either or, right? Depends on the year. February is really bullish. Again, only 2 bad months in 11 years. Same with October, 2 bad months, and they coincide with the year of the first bear market after the bull market, and so it just makes sense, right? Like,
well,
I'm just going to go with the statistics. Yeah, exactly. That's what was frustrating for the first almost 2 weeks. We didn't get any action. We were actually down 3% for the month.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, this is stupid. This is just doesn't make any sense.
This is dumb.
And, of course, it's well, especially because, like, again, we talked about these things. We're having this like MACD cross on the weekly. It's happening like in real time. We have the statistics on our side, right? It just doesn't make any sense. Liquidity is pouring in. Like ETFs for this week were like 300 million, and so it just doesn't make any sense to me. So that's why I'm bullish until I'm not.
The consensus has been so far this cycle that we're a little bit ahead of the curve. Everything is happening, a month or two early, and that shows Exhibit A back in March when we hit the brand new all-time high, a month and a half before the halving, which was never happened before. And then you look at last month, September was plus 7.3%, and if you look at previous history, that is the highest September. So, having that bit of a pullback in the beginning of October could just be a result of everything kind of, going up before it's supposed to and then resetting, kind of like we did back in April. We had a negative 15% month, which is not very typical in a bull year. So this cycle is a little bit different. We can thank the ETFs for that, I'm sure. We can thank the Bitcoin price doing what it's been doing for the last 6 months, doing nothing. So retail really isn't involved. And we're going to have to
they're not there yet.
They're not here yet.
The retail is here when they buy NFTs, and they're not buying NFTs. So we're still a little bit away. I agree. The retail has not entered the market yet, but there is conflicting data. Like, for example, the amount of new Bitcoin wallets is at near an all-time high. And that's included with a couple other chains across the market. For example, Solana, Sui. What's another one I heard? Aptos. There's a few of them that are really skyrocketing with new wallets and volume, but you're right. Generally, the retail isn't here. Like, friends aren't talking about it. I'm not hearing about it when I go to friend's house or a grocery store or whatever. Once you start hearing people talking about it, then shit's about to get real and start pumping. Exactly. Okay. Yeah, we have time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, plenty of time. Juan, is there anything you want to add to that?
No, I agree. I think the what I always call the water cooler conversations have not begun, and I think that's part of why you don't see that explosion yet. Again, when you look at that chart, you do see October tends to be like an amazing time to be in, right? But at the same time, we are in unprecedented times because we got multiple little wars outside that affect pricing. You got little nonsense that keeps going on. Like I said, aliens can come tomorrow. But in all reality, right, like it's just a lot of conflict still within the states that tends to drive Bitcoin. That is still not figured out. When you hear Kamala supporting crypto, to me, it just sounds like you're just putting out there to maintain momentum. And when you see news that just doesn't make sense, I'm more cautious. It kind of makes me like, let me think about this before I kind of go at it. Where in prior days, you knew that in prior years, you can kind of look at and you'll see that the news tends to be supportive and everything coincides and it made more sense. Again, when you see the volume kind of down, and as far as money compared to last year, October, I still think we're still down. So those are the things that I kind of look like as indicators. Why is this, influx of money where all the markets are reaching all-time highs and Bitcoin's a little behind where they tend to be leaders. So this is what I'm looking forward to. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. I'm just saying it's going to take a little longer than it would have in October. Maybe it'll get pushed into November. That's what I kind of look at.
Yeah, it's possible. And you're right about the volume. Up until the last 4 days, it's been lower than average. Although the last 4 days have been really, really high. Today is only at about 75 billion, but yesterday and the day before was well over 100 billion. So the volume is starting to pick up, and you can see that reflected in the Bitcoin price.
Yeah,
also,
exciting times. Like I said,
if you look at like quarterly as well, the last quarter seems to be the most bullish out of all the quarters. So if you look at that median price just alone, it's 31%. In quarter 4 versus any other quarter, So, and quarter 3 makes sense, right? It's just no one gives a shit about anything in the summer.
Right.
And
exactly.
So it just makes sense why it's that way.
Okay, chart. Is there anything else you wanted to share? Any other coins or charts or anything?
I mean, whatever you guys want, I can throw it up.
Well, I just didn't know if you had any kind of. Well, we might as well do
the
other
thing you guys can do. The other thing you guys can do is play Politify tokens, like meme coins. Like I'm on them because of that specific reason. It's the election cycle. They're going to pump eventually. They're probably going to give, I don't know, maybe a 3x or 4x. I'm not so sure anymore. You know, like I thought it's going to be pretty crazy, but there's a lot of resistances. There's like this, you know, like very up and down scenario with these, with the volume on these tokens. You know, they're very not predictable.
No,
which was just terrible for me. So like when I look at Trump, for example, you know, I kind of expected like volume to slowly pick up and then you know, be at a peak about a week away. And it's just, there's nothing. Like if you look at the volume, it does this. I'll show you. Hold on. It does. There it is. Does this and then goes down. And then goes this and then goes down. Like, what is that? It should be a slow ascending amount of volume so that we can actually have a run, and we don't have a run. But I do feel like it's going to eventually get there. I think it's going to get to like this area here. And, you know, that is a decent, you know, 250%. You know, it's not bad. Some people think it's going to be like, you know, pumping, getting you 20x or whatever. I just don't see it. You know, like if you look at the chart setup, right, it's really difficult to, you know, say that this is going to give you like a 10x when it barely gave you a 10x from here to there. And it took you months, right? And he was the candidate at the time and everything else. So I just don't feel like there's enough room and time to do that. The other one that I'm watching is Kamala Harris, which is the Kamala Harris meme coin. And this one is a little bit undervalued because it took its time to get where it is. And it has some space to jump about 100% from where it is now. So essentially just what's on the screen from here to there and then into this section. And so we'll see when that happens. I think it's sooner than later, especially I think it broke through. Let me just check this out because it looks like it finally broke through. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, see how there's that wick? There it is. So this happened more recently. And you can tell, like, if you draw something correctly, you can see if you did by the wick, right? If the wick went over it, you're like, oh, okay. This is one of those like stop loss situations where people had set up their orders, and as soon as that thing trips, people buy into it, and then it wicks really quickly. But I think we're going to get about 100 to 200% out of this before we have a move down. And I'm watching them every day. I'm putting them on the daily stream just to get everybody up to speed, because they're eventually going to pump, and I want to be on top of
it. I've dabbled, and I do dabble in meme coins, but most of them I kind of have a strategy what I do with them, and what that strategy is, I'll get in early, either on pre-sale or right at launch. I'll ride the initial pump up. There's always an initial dump, and then the second wave up is usually anywhere from 1.5 to 3x above the initial pump, and that's when I sell. It's kind of a tested thing that I have. But you and I had a conversation, I believe, last week, and I wanted to hold one in my portfolio, at least one in my portfolio for the bull run. And I ended up going with PopCat, and that was a good one because I've done well. It's continued to do well. It's up again today, almost 10%. The other one I got was actually Trump on the XRPL, and I got in at a good time. That's done a 3x since. I'm going to hold that through the bull as well. So yeah, meme coins are, they're fun. You can lose your ass real quick. You got to have a strategy. You got to make sure you pick the right ones. I'm just going to where am I here? I'm just going to switch over to my screen for a second, chart. Okay, so where are we?
Okay. While you guys are holding these presidential coins, is it affected by their news? Like, for example, like today, I think there was a news event about Trump trying to, I think he was trying to buy off Stormy Daniels again, not to say nothing, from a certain time period because of the elections coming up. And they actually have a voice recording. Did that affect?
I doubt it. I knew
you know what? I think
the Trump coin was actually going to go down because I talked about it actually at the early starts of this week. I don't even listen to the news. I don't even care. I just look at it technically and see what's going on. And I said to everyone, there's going to be a dump from 40 cents down to maybe like 29. It's exactly what happened. And I think there's going to be more dumping to that level again. But it has nothing to do with news. I don't think people care about this kind of stuff. I think what they care about is possibly who's going to win, right? So if, for example, if Kamala Harris jumps in the polls on Polymarket by like 5%, I think liquidity is going to flow into Kamala Harris's meme token rather than Trump's.
Right.
So I think that might be swaying things. But overall, I just look at the chart and go, what is a technical move for me, regardless of what happens fundamentally? And, you know, if it goes past those things, okay.
A few months ago, if there was any negative or positive news for either one of the candidates, it would have affected the tokens in their name, but it hasn't lately. I don't think any news from either the Dems or the Republican side is affecting anything because people don't care anymore. They've heard so much garbage that they're just tuning out. So today, if I didn't even hear that news, honestly, but today the Trump coin is up 14%. So it obviously didn't have an effect. But what I wanted to show the audience real quick, I don't recommend getting into meme coins. I really don't, because like I said, if you don't know what you're doing, you can lose your ass, but you really have to pay attention. But for those that do want to, and maybe want a little bit of knowledge on how to do it, this is one of the ways that I look for one. Here's on my deck screener. On the left-hand side here, there's a margin. If you scroll down to whichever chain you want to look for a token on, then you just you can select it here. Now, for the purposes of this, I will do Solana. So I'll just type in. Oh, there it is, right there. So we'll go to Solana, and what I do is I will look for. Oh, excuse the slow internet right now. Okay, so as soon as it loads, what I will do is I come over here to volume, and I will make sure that the highest volume is up top. So this gives you an idea of the meme coins that have the most volume currently. And then the other thing I'll look for is the age. So if I'll find something that is super, super young, like within a few hours. Okay, here's one, 4 hours, only an 87,000 market cap. No, so I'll skip that one. So anyway, I'll scroll down. I'll find one that's trending. I'll find one that is fairly new and that has a lot of volume and a decent market cap. Then, then you can kind of take your chance because, and then obviously look at the chart and make sure that it hasn't done a huge pump and then a massive dump down to zero. But that's the quick criteria. And then, then I'll look for narrative. If it has anything to do with the elections, it'll probably do well for a couple of weeks now. And it depends on the chain it's on. So Solana meme coins are always hot. They always have been. Base had a little bit of a run, but they've kind of died out. Sui are starting to pick up. There's one on there called Suinami, kind of a cool name. It's doing okay. And then some of the up and coming chains with volume coming in, which you can look on DeFi Llama to see which chains are beginning to increase in volume. And a couple of them, for example, Aptos has really had a lot of volume lately. And then the usual ones, Ton, Base, Solana. So that's just an easy way to quickly narrow down meme coins that you may want to look into, because there's so many to choose from that you could lose your ass if you just blindly buy anything that you read on Twitter, because those guys are just out to pump their own bags and then they're going to dump on you.
The one thing I have to mention, though, is I have been a witness to this, and I've been pull up the chart again. Just I'll show you what I mean. There's the issue with the volume itself, especially with the age, is that they can easily hire a market maker and they can pump up the volume. So you can think that there's a really strong organic volume in there. When in fact, it's just a few of the market makers are basically washing these trades. And so you get deceived into thinking this is going to be a nice pump and it's going to be a lot of liquidity. And when in fact, it just isn't. When it goes away, it just drops immediately. Yeah.
Sorry. What you can do there is you bring up the chart, and then if you go to, I don't know why it's being really slow today, but if you go to the, wow. Sorry, gentlemen, my internet is being funny. So
no, it draws a lot of memory. I know I have the same issue sometimes with it.
Oh, okay. So yeah, if you come into the transactions, and then if you start seeing identical wallets depositing identical amounts, then you know that it's being manipulated for sure. So that was the other thing that you got to check. You got the transactions, make sure that it's not the same wallet constantly dumping in $20, $20, $20, $20, creating false volume. You're right. So make sure if you do decide this one looks cool, you got to make sure you check that as well to make sure.
Yeah, I think it's in that screen, you can sort it by wallet and you can see if the same wallet comes up multiple times.
Yes, that's what I mean.
That's why I love that screener. Yeah. Like you can just, you can take that maker tab and just sort by that wallet only. It will show you exactly when they were buying and how many times they're buying and everything.
Yeah. Additionally, really awesome. you can also sort it by dollar amount. And then see if it's consistent dollar amounts as well. Those are good strategies, guys. But just to kind of add to what Crypto said, I'm gonna do the opposite. I love people getting into meme coins, especially those who love to gamble. As long as you know that you're gambling, if you're gonna spend $100 to $300 on Lotto, right? I think that you better start putting in a meme coin, and you can probably 1x to 10x, in a day, or over time. If you're like adrenaline junkie, you kind of want to keep watching a chart and see how much money you can get up to. This is a great way to kind of do it. This is, no technical analysis really required if you're going to gamble, right?
Zero.
And you just get in. And if you're going to spend it there. One in what is it? 1 in a million or 1 in 5 million to get something in your Lotto, and maybe you can have $5-10 out of it if you get like the lowest numbers, or if you want to really win, is 1 in 25 million. No.
Why? Did you hear that story? Did you hear that story about that degenerate that bought like $1,000 worth of Moondang when it got released?
Yes.
He turned that $1,000 into like $1 million, and you're like, there. See, there's a poster child for completely gambling like crazy, because who's going to put $1,000 into something that's completely random? Like, I wouldn't. You wouldn't, right?
Not $1,000, no.
No, not 1,000, but I've done 100. I had 200. Let me just toss it in here, see what it does.
Yeah.
And I'll have, in more chances than not, I've always walked away with profit. Now, maybe not 10x, but definitely 3, 4, 5x. Yes. Because I just, I know how these meme coins work, and I just want to get out, right? Let's just be honest. I'm not going to hold it for a long time. But right, when you do the odds calculation, it's, I think, 1 out of 750,000 chance that you can make 10 to 100x on one trade.
Way better odds.
Yes.
Way better odds.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's my whole point.
And you know what? You can play it smart too. Like I said, I have my strategy. Out of all the meme coins I've gotten into, I'd say probably 75% of them have gone to zero, but yet I still made profit. I don't care about missing out on, if it goes 20x. I don't really care about that. I stick to my strategy of selling after the initial dump, after the initial memes I've made. I've 2x, double my money. Others I've done 5x, and then there was the one that I had mentioned. I guess it was a couple of weeks ago now. It was degen, make America degen again. It was about Trump and Elon jumping up in the air. It eventually went almost down to zero, but I did a 15x, I think, on that one. So, if you have a strategy, especially with meme coins, stick to it. Don't get greedy, and you can make money on almost any meme coin you get into, except for the ones that do a quick pump and then they rug. Those ones you can't do anything about. I've been in a couple of those. There's nothing you can do. But for the normal meme coin that's out there, as long as you pick the right one and make sure you check everything like I showed on Deck Screener and do your due diligence and research, you can make some money. Just don't get greedy and hold. That's the number one thing. Do not hold meme coins for very long, except for ones that are mainstream and that you think are going to do well. And right now, until the election, as Chart mentioned, the anything to do with Trump or Kamala will probably do well leading into the election. Immediately after, whoever is declared the winner, whichever meme coin that is, they will probably do a bit of a rally pump, but don't stay in them too long.
Yeah, I would not hold past the election. I mentioned this many times. Do not hold even through the election. Like on the day of the election, if you hold it, you're going to be wrecked. I'm telling you right now. It's happened so many times. Even if there's like a massive 2x pump on the day of, it's going to go down just as fast. And I have so many examples of that.
I know I'm supporting you, Chart, on this, where even if you're like, okay, I'm going to sell right now, you're going to be stuck trying to sell. because it's going to be overwhelmed with transactions, and you just, oh, but I pressed it, and next thing you know, like the fees are just killing you, and everything else is killing you, just trying to sell it because you couldn't do it in time. Totally agree. Plan ahead, get rid of it before the election.
Yeah, be happy what you get. Sometimes you get something like a 2x, 300%. Just be happy. Like, why is not enough to get 3x before the election? Then you can get into something substantial before the bull run. Like, just be happy with it.
100%. Okay, so I'm going to move on to which one I'm going to go to. I'll go to the fear and greed. Okay, we'll go run through this real quick. I just want to run through the MBRB, the rainbow chart, etc., and then we can go into our not predictions, but the way we feel the market is going to react in the next in the week coming, leading into the next week. So right now we have fear and greed. Actually, let me refresh this. I believe it's still around the same. Fear and greed is at 60. Yep. So fear and greed 60 currently, which is in greed. I think there's still a little bit of shakiness in the market, but we have passed neutral into greed, and then you can see here the chart how we've been over the last few months. Let's see. Yesterday we were at 58, like I said, neutral, and then today we're in greed. Let's go to the prices. So currently Bitcoin is at 67,319, up almost 12% on the week, which is pretty good. Ethereum's up over 2,600 right now, 2,602, 9% for the week. See, we got Solana. I believe Solana, yep, up 8% for the week, $150 currently. It's been a little bit weak the last couple of days, but that's okay. She'll make a rebound, always does. Coming down, Cardano shouldn't even be in the list. Let's see, refresh. And then the other one I like to follow, Sui. It is up 10.5% on the week, $2.02. That's actually come down quite a bit from, it made an all-time high, $2.36, I'm going to say, something like that. Had a really good run there. It's having a bit of a correction, so it's fairly healthy. At least it didn't run too far, too fast, but it's done really well. It's been the best performer, actually, of all the whole crypto market in the last few months. Well, not even few months. I'd say 6 to 8 weeks. We'll say 2 months. It went from just under $1 all the way up to $2.36. It had an incredible run, so it's doing really, really good. Okay, here is the rainbow chart. Not to be confused with chart being happy. Oh, now we're having another lag. Come on.
I'm always happy.
You're always happy. Actually, I don't think I've ever seen you not happy, to be quite honest. You're always in a good mood. I like to see that. Okay, well, I'm going to have to close that because it is lagging again. Okay, so here's the rainbow chart. Where are we? It's not going to let me zoom in, is it? No, unfortunately, it's not going to let me zoom in. Okay, so currently, basically a fire sale. It's come all the way down into the blue. Yeah, strange. You don't expect it to be basically a fire sale right near all-time highs, but I guess at this part of the bull market, being a few months after the halving, or 6 months after the halving, that's what it is. So yeah, anywhere in this zone, it's buy. Even when we get up into the green, it's still a buy section, and then accumulate. As you can see, we were in the accumulate section not too long ago. Just what's that? May,
week over
June,
week from when we compared it to last week. I think we was in accumulation zone, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Well, according to this, last week.
If you go towards like the start of the year, what's the orange? So 2025. What is the orange? See if you hover over. Yeah. Is it going to do you? Yeah, there you go. Go down the orange.
Over the orange.
Yeah.
425,000.
Yeah, not happening. Okay. What about the yellow? Right.
Yellow, which is HODL, we're at 200.
Yeah, we're still not there either.
I don't know about that. Listen, I'll be happy with whatever we get. I want to be pessimistic and say it's 120,000.
I agree.
If we get anything beyond that, fantastic. I'm all for it. But You know,
Yeah.
we got blindsided last bull run. We all thought we were going to get 100,000. We never even got close to that. And so, you know, let's not do that again, right? Let's be optimistic, but not crazy optimistic.
Well, some people are saying we could hit 100,000 by Christmas, right? So if that's the case, it would still be in accumulate.
Oh, absolutely. You're like, this is a great segue for what do we think about the rest of the market in the next few months. I mean, obviously it's going to be full send, right?
Okay.
Like strap up, let's fucking go. Because when everything is pointing towards that.
When I said that we were coiling, I didn't quite mean that we were going to coil that high. Okay, so here's the MVRV, and we're still just under 2. Everything looks healthy there. Nothing to worry about. We're nowhere near the end of the market, according to the MVRV. Okay, so I guess now how much time are we at? Okay, that's pretty good. We're still doing good for time. We're only at 51 minutes. All right, so I guess we can finish up and talk about how we feel that the next week is going to go. Juan, I'll start with you because actually, you know what? I wanted to ask you first about the your Forex trading and Forex bots. I know we kind of touched on it last week a little bit, but we haven't really talked about it a lot. So how's that going with you? Any new developments there?
There is some interesting movement in the Forex market. And some of it is good and some of it is bad. It looks like the MQL5 systems is staying away from the US market right now. And it looks like a lot of brokers are exiting the market and just dealing with the European market. And it looks like it's forcing people to go into DX trade and other type of systems to kind of do their trading, which is causing a lot of turmoil out there. With that being said, even without happening, gold is still near all-time new highs at 2,700. So does it matter? Maybe for like the retailer, but these brokers are still killing it out there. So that means that there's still a market out there for people to make money in the Forex world. I've been successfully, I think just over the last week and a half, leveraging about 11K before my broker decided to kind of exit me. So I have to look for a new broker. So yay.
Great.
So it's setting up really well. And now we're just in that process of kind of redoing that over again, which kind of sucks. But it's positive to know that even with all these challenges that are being presented to the United States, we still have avenues to kind of get into. And the market is still thriving with or without us, right? And I want that, right? That's that level of security. Does that mean I have to become a new UK citizen? Maybe, and just fuck American politics? Yeah, maybe. But you got to go where the money is. And right now, Forex is still a thriving place to be. It's a great place to learn technical analysis. And it's not, like something that's overbearing. You can take your time. There's a lot of different methodologies for it. Whether it's silver, gold, US to the British pound or the euro. Like the euro is one of the safest things they're going to get into. It stabilizes for a long time. Then it has its peaks and valleys. You can take advantage of that. And you can learn a lot of ways to kind of get into it. So definitely recommended for a lot of our listeners. If you want to get into Forex, start into those little Forex pairs. Gold is highly volatile, can definitely make you happy and sad and all in one day. Then you have to worry about news events. News events always are crazy and take advantage of it. Great ways to kind of learn. Simple systems, lots of things you can kind of get into to help support you. And we got us here. So if you have guys who want to come on in our chats and ask for support, we'll definitely do that for you guys. I know Davidson hosts tons of crypto stuff, but a lot of what he teaches and shows on his crypto charts still are relevant to Forex. And you can kind of utilize that. They go hand in hand. And for now, though, loving where we at right now and where we could be by the end of the year.
Awesome. Okay. Well, that'll lead right into my next question for you. Before I bring it over to Chart, is how do you see the market Bitcoin specifically, what do you think it's going to do this week, leading up to next Thursday?
I think it's still decision time for them. I see them still holding on consolidation this week. Yeah, you might have, a couple of thousand up, a couple of thousand down, but no major moves. I think there's a lot of still speculation out there, a lot of fear. Nobody wants to get caught into the November dump that happened years ago. And I think that's still, a big part of it. The fact that gold is still reaching high, that means people are still storing their value there before they transition to Bitcoin. So if you see a big dump or a big move in gold, you might see it now transition into Bitcoin. So that's probably a good indicator there, in my opinion. So just keep an eye on those things. There's definitely a correlation. And then from there, at least for this week, I'll tell you guys, hold tight. Don't panic for any small moves, and stick to your plan.
Awesome. Chart, what about you?
I'm ready to lift off. I don't know about you, Juan.
I think we all are.
Get into that rocket, refuel it, strap on and get the hell rolling, because it's been a while and all indicators point towards a massive run coming up. Already mentioned in the part of the stream that, we have this bullish crossover on the weekly for Bitcoin that's going to translate into a bigger move than we expect. There's going to be bumps on the road. We're definitely going to see some resistances at 74,000. We might even get a run to 84,000. So people say 100,000, right? I don't know, but the point is that we are on the positive side now of the trade, right? We've gone through the negative side. We're totally on the positive side. The statistics say that we're going to have a 20% month. We're only 6% in. We still have 15% to go. So I feel like, as long as that dominance is topping and it's falling, we're actually going to get an alt season. So look, if you don't have any capital left, fine. But if you have capital on the sidelines, I don't know what the hell you're doing. I really don't. You get it to work, right? Because there's so many options out there. You can get it to AVAX or Solana or Harmony, looks great, or Verge, of all these L1s and L2s that I always talk about. There's all these other ones that we normally go through every single day on the stream that could be worthwhile, like Opulus, Velo, Layer 1, sort of Layer AI, Demetra and Jupiter and Python, a whole bunch of other ones. So when they expand and when they get to all these other levels, you're going to be late. Right. And then you're not getting a discount anymore. Right. Sure, you might be getting a discount because, at the height of the bull run, it's going to be whatever, 10x from where it is now. But you're not getting that bottom buy. You know what I mean? The opportunities are abound right now. And if you're not ready to buy and you're not buying right now and adding to your position, you're doing yourself a huge disservice. So, yeah, strap up. We're ready to go.
Agreed. I'm just quickly, I know a lot of people have been following the, some are calling it a bull flag, others are calling it descending channel, whatever you want to call it. And yesterday was the first time we actually broke through it. And I'm just doing a raw drawing on my on the Bybit chart here on the screen. So we actually did break through it. Now you can put these anywhere, but the one I have drawn actually on my trading view is a little bit different. But we did break through it, and currently we're doing a retest. So if we can hold on to the 67,000, 66.8 area, and then bounce from here, it could be a confirmation that we're going to go a little higher, at least on the daily chart. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But what I'm thinking is going to happen this week, I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, but I think we're going to get much of the same. Leading into the election, I know it's only a couple of weeks away. I think leading into the election, we will reach and touch all-time highs again. But I'm not sure we're going to have that breakout because, as you had mentioned before, there's still uncertainty. People aren't really sure what's going to happen with the election. Juan, you alluded to, depending on which party is elected, they're both becoming more crypto-friendly than in the past. We always knew that Trump has always been crypto-friendly, at least in recent times. And Kamala, she's she's screwed. I don't know if she's going to honor her promises or honor her her pro crypto stance if she is elected. But regardless, that doesn't really matter. Going into the election, I think there's going to be a lot of wait and see. I do think it's going to be bullish for the remainder, like for this week. Don't get me wrong. I don't think we're going to have any huge, crazy candles to the downside unless we do go down and wick out those leverage positions that I had mentioned down to about 61,000. But other than that, I'm feeling bullish. Everything in the market's looking good. We are coiling up like a spring, and I think this sucker is just going to take off when the time is right. Okay. Any last words from you guys before we end the stream? Juan, I'll start with you. Anything you want to end off with?
100%. I'm still a believer that you got to stop being on the sidelines. I think all of us agree here that you have to take a little bit more control of what you want to do with your finances. And this is one of the best markets to kind of be in. Bull markets are awesome. They're simple as far as, it's going to go up. That's why it's called a bull market. But sitting on the sidelines, it's definitely not going to help anyone's portfolio. So definitely get involved. Great time again to kind of learn, lean into and check it out. Different Bitcoin's not the only thing, but it's one of the things we discuss a lot because it's a major component of the crypto market. It's the leading coin, and it kind of leads all other coins into different directions. But at the end of the day, whatever you guys want to invest in, do something with it. Get involved. Make it part of your daily growth for your own futures. And again, listen to us. We're on here all the time. And if you guys have any questions, post. We always kind of check back and see where we can answer some questions.
Thanks for that. Chart, yourself?
Simply put, just if you're watching this, know that there's a daily stream that happens every single day. I try to time it with the opening bell of the markets around 9:30, sometimes 10 o'clock in the morning, Eastern time. And I go over everything possible for the day, including meme coins, NFTs, shit coins, major caps, and so on and so forth. So I do a daily stream. If you want to check it out, give me a follow on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, at Chart Davidson. And also we actually are starting a newsletter, weekly newsletter. If anyone's interested, I can throw it up on the screen if you want. Do you see it?
Throw it up now, yeah.
There you go.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go. If you're interested in the weekly newsletter, talking about crypto in general, we'll do setups and we will do beginner outlooks and things that a lot of beginners do not have the information to do certain things in crypto. And so we would like to encompass a lot of that in the newsletter, including things for intermediate people, like to buy a certain coin. What do you got for me? And so we're going to try to do a whole bunch of stuff. And it's going to be fun. And it's going to be weekly and free. That's the most important thing. So if you're interested in something like this,
the best part.
You go to let me put down the address. It's a weird address for now, but it's dgens-crypto-weekly.beehiiv.com, and you go to subscribe. So I'll post it on the stream if you can throw it on there.
Well, I've got all of your.
You already have it anyway.
Hold on. Yeah, I've got all of your links in the description already. But yeah, give me that web address again.
Okay. It's DGENZ weekly.beehiiv.com/subscribe. All right.
That's it. Okay. Okay. So like I said, all of the links are in the description for your X account, where you have your streams daily, and also for the DGENZ Discord. So if anyone's interested in checking that out, just go to the description. All the links will be down there. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. It was a great. Oh, never mind. Let me put this. I'm going to copy this actually. And bear with me. I'll actually put this up pretty much every every week. Okay, so there it is there for anyone that wants to check out that weekly newsletter.
Amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I will also add that to the description. So if anyone's interested in learning crypto, learning trading, wants to be part of a community and get their foot in a little bit more knowledge into the space and protect yourself and invest wisely, I suggest joining the Discord and, of course, listening to Chart daily on X. Usually around 9:30 is what time you stream.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Okay. Like we've ran so quickly through all the episodes. I think we're at episode 54. Tomorrow's 55. Like it's so quick.
So fast.
I know. I missed. I think I missed one day, and it was because of Thanksgiving. So I was like, I'm going to do a late stream. I'm like, nah, I'm not doing a late stream. I'm so tired. I'm so full. I couldn't breathe how much food I ate, and I'm like, I'm going to have a really solid
one day.
The following. Exactly. You got it. Yeah.
And we'll see everyone next week. Don't forget, nothing we say here is financial advice or anything like that. Just it's for entertainment purposes only. We just hope to bring education and awareness to the crypto space. All right, thanks, gentlemen.
Take it easy. See you guys next week.
Later.